Boom. Down payment. We're going to down payment, people. In fact, that's a good segue. So the next one is, guess what? We're going to show this one. See, watch this. Boom. Down payment. We're going to down payment, people. I'm telling you, technology is crazy for an old geezer like me. So everybody says on the down payment, oh, you can't buy a house unless you got 20% down. You shouldn't do it. Let's talk about down payment. Is 20%, is that the number?
No, absolutely not. However, we talk about talking to relatives and friends and trying to get people's opinions and advice. And this is a common misconception still in 2020. I don't know why I'm still surprised by it, but I am. I do hear this, and it's okay. I understand people are not trying to deter you from buying with giving you purposeful, misinformation. But the reality is, you can buy a home for far, far less than 20% down. There are minimum down payment programs. I may be jumping ahead here, David, but
you're good.
There are minimum down payment, 3.5% down payment options. There's even USDA loans where you're buying in a rural area, so kind of outside the city limits, and it's zero down payment needed at all. Now, I do want to throw this in there one time just so we say it. Zero down doesn't mean nothing out of pocket. It means zero down payment. There are still things on any loan like closing costs, which could be appraisal, title work. You have to pay some escrow, which is taxes and insurance. And of course, we would get into all of that. But zero down means just zero down payment specifically.
Where all can this money come from?
So there are many different ways naturally people earn money or receive monies for down payment. It is important to have that conversation. If you're expecting I will say, random amount of money coming into your possession, random being outside of just your normal employment, you absolutely need to let your loan officer know, how do I set this up properly? Is this okay? I'll give you an example. I have people who may be self-employed, or let's do bartender, for instance. Well, bartender gets cash. Now, if the bartender is constantly putting in cash deposits and it's normal and consistent, there are potential ways that we can use that. If the bartender saves and saves and saves under his mattress for 2 years and he has $10,000 that he then puts in bank statements, and we see a $10,000 deposit, we cannot source where that came from. Mm-hmm. When we cannot source where it came from, we cannot use it. We cannot recognize it. Now, there's a period of time that can elapse where eventually it becomes seasoned and it is okay. But in that moment in time, it is not usable. If you're going to be getting any kind of, let's say your buddy owes you money. Let's say I've been watching the Chicago Bulls, The Last Dance recently, Michael Jordan on ESPN, right? So I'm hooked on this, and so this is what I'm thinking about. Let's say you're a Bulls fan, and you bet your buddy that back in 1998 that they were going to beat the Utah Jazz in the finals, and he was a big Jazz fan. He never paid you $10,000, and now he's square usable money because, again, there's no way to document that. So everything has to be paper trailed. That is an important rule of thumb. If you cannot paper trail something, if it is not common and normal for your industry to be receiving cash deposits, just know there's going to be some complications in the immediate short term trying to use that money. Now, a couple months later after you deposit it, that's a different conversation, and again, would be acceptable. Now, that's cash deposit related. You can get a gift. Gifts are allowed. If you have a family member, a parent, grandparent, a rich uncle that says, hey, I want to help you guys out. Here's 20 grand, or you're getting married and you're getting gifts from family members. That is acceptable. Now, there's still some additional documentation we will require, again, to paper trail this, like a gift letter. We might have to get the donor's bank statement to prove that they had the funds in there. Again, those are things that we'll talk about, but that is acceptable. You cannot go get a loan for this loan. You can't go borrow money for a down payment. That is not acceptable. Yeah. So again, these are the types of conversations that if you're thinking about how do I come up with money for a down payment, you got to talk to your loan officer and talk through those things.
So
if you
I
want to sell
talk,
property. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
It's just real quick timeout. I can already see this, between Texas and homeschoolers, what businesses of theirs where my money comes from? It's my money.
Yeah.
It ain't none of their business. Well, okay. I understand. Trust me, I'm a homeschooler, so I understand that argument. I don't like nobody telling me what to do, and we'll figure it out. But think about it this way: if it were your money, because I understand the fairness and and that mentality. But if it were your money and you were putting this out and you had people that were basically you had to answer to say, hey, I'm going to give this money to this person, you've got to be able to justify it. It's the days of, I'm old. I don't even know if people do this anymore. The days of just putting your name on somebody and saying, you know what, he's from a good family or they're from a good family and they're going to be able to pay their bills because I know them. That doesn't happen. They've got to literally look at it and say, oh, okay, this is why, once again, normal and consistent. I wrote that down. Normal and consistent. It's not like you went out and did a drug deal,
Right.
Just be able to verify where it comes from. I'm intentionally playing the role of the consumer that is maybe a little on one side or another, because people watching this, these are going to be the people. And so I'm trying to help you. So try to go into it with the understanding that, yeah, you're good people. And yeah, they want to give you a loan because they make money off of you. That's right. It's not a secret, but they have to justify it. So going through these hoops, and trust me, people, when I say there's going to be some hoops to jump through, oh my gosh, they're going to continue to ask more and more questions and get more and more information and fill out stuff. And you're like, I just filled that out twice. No, well, you kind of did, but it's in, I just want to prepare you. This is not it can be an easy process if you have somebody that knows what they're doing and is very organized, but it's not easy because think about it, this is the biggest purchase you'll probably ever make in your life. You've got to make sure your ducks in a row and they need to make sure that their ducks are in a row. Does that make sense?
It's all about risk, right?
Yeah.
From a lender standpoint, I'm so proud of you, David. You really did a good job of explaining it, and you do understand what we're looking for on the lending side. And it's there you go. If you, I'm just going to paint the picture. If you have borderline credit, if we're stretching out your budget, if you also are relying on money from other people, that means your risk. You are considered risk in all three major areas of the file. Yeah. And as a lender who's about to give you a couple $100,000, that is a concern from a repayment standpoint. Mm-hmm. We do have consumers that feel that, hey, I paid my rent for 2 years without a late payment, and that is great and important. But there's so much more that goes into this when somebody's lending you money. That the apartment complex isn't lending you money. They already own that piece of property. They're just letting you stay there for a monthly cost. This is actual money that's going out that lender, if you default on the mortgage, they're not seeing that money back. So it is increasingly important that they've done their due diligence and they feel comfortable with the paperwork that's been presented, the qualification that's been presented. So they're going to do their due diligence and ask questions that to you may feel imposing and invasive is probably the better word. But the reality is when you have that much at risk and you flip the script, you're lending your friend $200,000, you're going to ask some questions and make sure you're going to get that money back. And that's what it comes down to. Yeah. We don't want to badger anybody. And I've been doing this so long that I know the ins and outs and I make the process as easy as it possibly can be. But yes, we do have to scrub a little bit and make sure that the investors that we give these loans to are going to feel warm and fuzzy.
Well, and I just wanted to bring it up because for the person that's on this side of the table, it's personal. And because I did it happened to me. Well, wait a minute, am I not good enough? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my money? I'm a good standing citizen, but it's not about that. It's about, are you a good risk? And that's hard to get your mind around mentally to separate that, because yes, you might be a good person and do all these things, but at that point in time in your life, because some things that have either happened or not happened, because if you don't have any credit, well, how do they know? It might just be for that specific time that it's not right not right now. It's not no, it's just not right now. But you already got married. Now you want to get into a house, but you don't really have any money to put down. Because that was one of the questions. What are the options? What are there options if you don't have any money to put down on a house?
Yeah. And it's best to have some money, of course, right? That's probably, a no-brainer at that point. But there are some assistance programs out there. And it's not just for first-time home buyers. We use and love that term, first-time home buyer programs and things like that. But really, they've opened it up to anybody within their qualification. So yes, absolutely, there are, again, assistance programs that will cover down payment. Now, it will cover down payment, and sometimes it'll cover some closing costs, but not everything. And that's where either if you find a property, and David, you can absolutely speak on this and correct me if I speak out of turn here, but if you find a property that's maybe been on the market a little bit longer, that seller's just happy that you're talking to them, you might be able to negotiate with them. Hey, I want to buy your home, but I need you to chip in a couple grand in what we call seller concessions, meaning just a credit from the seller to help pay that remaining balance. That's an option. But the best thing you can do, and the way I talk to my clients, is when you come into this transaction, the less assistance you need from outside third-party sources, the better your options and opportunities are. It doesn't mean you can't buy. It just means the more doors you have open naturally, so this is a life lesson, right? The more doors we have open, the more likely we are to have a successful process and transactions. Just simple math in that regard. But again, if you don't have money, there are assistance programs. Just try to save up a little bit so we don't have to rely on the seller. Again, you have more properties to explore and look at.
There you go. So let's wrap this segment up, or this portion of the segment up. So down payment, what does that mean? The notes that I made was it needs to be normal and consistent, or it needs to have a letter attached to it where they can see, hey, this is where the money came from. Let's see here. There are options out there. If you don't have any money, my counsel to you, as somebody that's younger than I am, and I've been through this, be real careful with, if you are barely getting by right now, living in an apartment, and you don't have any money saved up, ask yourself this. If you had to replace a washer and dryer tomorrow, could you do it without going in debt? Because if you can't, you're going to have to go in debt, and that's going to increase your debt to income ratio, which, I shouldn't have said it. It's going to increase your credit debt, put it that way, and you're putting yourself more in a financial situation. If you needed to go buy furniture right now, could you do it? Because if you're just got married, trust me from firsthand experience, you go in and you buy a new house, whether a brand new house or a newer house to you, you're going to be buying some furniture. And you're probably going to be buying a washer and dryer because she's going to want to decorate that thing, or he's going to want to put in his man cave, right? There's things that come up. Just be cautious with that. At the same time, once again, I'm going to beat this drum until I can't beat it anymore. Find someone that you trust. Talk to somebody that is in financial good standings, that is either a relative that you know and that you're close to, or we'll talk to you. I'd love to sit down and talk to you. And I'm not even a mortgage person because, see, if I don't have a dog in the fight, at least I can gather information and then direct you to somebody like Michael. What do I want to leave you with? Michael Debacker. Great guy. I wouldn't have him on, people. I've told you this before. I've had other mortgage people on, right? I am going to bring you people that have the heart of a teacher, that are there to help, and they care to do what's right for the right reasons above all else. Because business will come, money will come. It's really not that hard if you're willing to work hard. The working hard is what most people don't want to do. We're here to help you. Call me. Michael, what's your website? Where can they, how can they
so a couple spots. Facebook at The Mortgage Mike, all just common spellings. You can get me on there. Website www.mortgagemike. Again, common spelling. Mike is short for Michael, M-I-K-E. So mortgagemike.us, as in United States. No com, no net, no nothing. So
Okay.
mortgagemike.us. And of course, cell phone guys, you can literally text me. I don't care. Text, call, reach out to me at 214-718-2248. 214-718-2248.
Yeah, I caught him in a pig blind 3 weeks ago. He really will pick up. Try to respect his time though. From me to you people, if you don't get anything out of this today, remember 2 things. Number 1, God loves you. Number 2, you know I do as well. If you get the first one right and understand that, it'll carry you through so many things that you don't understand. All right. I hope you found this enjoyable. I hope you found this informative, and to see that we're really here to help. If you do, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you can find more stuff that comes out quickly. And then for the next video, right, just click up there. Michael, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being on with me today. Hold tight, because I'd like to visit with you after this is over. But thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you coming on board.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Appreciate it.
You betcha. Y'all have a blessed day.